Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to dive into some choppy markets and compare levels and talk about one specific market that I am interested in playing in this chop. So let's go through the major indices, starting with the NASDAQ. We had a pretty sizable rip higher on Thursday, a little bit of follow through here on Friday, but if you take a look at the choppy environment that we're in. And how do we know it's chop? Well, we look at the grab candles, we take a look at the JT multi, we know this is a choppy market. And then the next question is, have we reached the upper end of resistance, or are we at the lower end of support within this chop? And the answer would be no. Now, one of the easiest things to do, and well, maybe not easy, but one of the best things to do is just move on, right? Now, then if you want to get a little bit more granular about it, you would move down, right, rather than moving on. What do I mean by that? Moving down would be moving down the chain of building blocks of this NASDAQ. You would look at XLK, you would look at XLC, you would look at XLY. And I mean, this is exactly the process that I'll be teaching tomorrow in the class starting at 1 o'clock, simplertrading.com/extract. Now, what do I mean by moving down? Well, I don't want a short discretionary. I really don't believe we're at an actionable edge in tech, but take a look at the XLC. This is the kind of market we want to keep an eye on for if there's exhaustion and if there's a rip that we can sell into. This is where we start to focus, right? So we go through the S&P and do the same process. We look at the index for itself, then we can start to dive down sort of below the surface and look at inside the index. The Dow is looking pretty close. The Dow is starting to get interesting as far as getting proximity to an area of resistance, but it's actually the Russell via either the RTY or the IWM that's now at a level that I think has been good resistance and makes sense for a short. Look at the previous signals, right? And this is what overbought resistance looks like. So I like the Russell for a quick move down to the midpoint of chop, and that's something I'll be looking for follow through next week. This is how we look at chop. So two tactics. One, make sure you're actually at an exhaustive level within the chop. Exhaustion is easily confirmed with the automation of the Darvas 3.0. We can further get into the V-score and the overall choppy environment. Well, that's the JT multi, right? And then if we don't like the structure or we're not near an edge on that index, we can start to dial it down. Now, one interesting thing we've been doing, and this was a trade that we did this week, and that was the pullback buy on regional banks, which hit their first target today. And this is a really good example of the shorter end of the duration that I look for setups that I'm going to teach in the class, which is about a handful of days, say 3 to 4 days, to about 3 to 4 weeks. That's the duration. If this continues to move higher and I have time to expiration on my options, great. We'll definitely ride it as far as we can. A great example of that kind of trade was the length of time we held UNG calls. This is a mid-August entry that only today on the expiration did I have to close out finally, right? And I had a little bit of a trailing stop. Take a look at the move, the overall move. We actually hit 3 different levels for targets. And while technically my trailing stop wasn't hit, I got out for expiration. This was easily about an 8 or 10x winner, right? So this is what I mean about time. Sometimes it hits really quick in the example of KRE, and it can continue. And sometimes we're going to have a trade that goes for almost 2 months. In the case of UNG. This is what I mean, days to weeks. So I hope that gives you an idea of the way in which we're looking for trades and the duration using that end of day daily time frame and what I've got on my radar for next week. All right, looking forward to seeing you in class tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to deep dive all of this, how I build a watch list. You're going to get a number of the free tools that you'll need to make this work with all 3 levels of the package. So really looking forward to seeing you there. Give me a shout out once you log into the room. Love seeing the familiar faces and names. And I'll talk to you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, Subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.